But I think in a lot of areas it's not necessary. And there's a huge savings there. So it's not necessarily the number of the vehicles, it's the quality of the vehicle.
Mr. Garrison.
In response, Supervisor Pinches, first of all, we look at the enterprise rates. They're very dynamic, and they're even dynamic with your wrestling with the budget. Your proposed budget has the vehicle replacement fund in advance for departments to save departments and the county money. Well, that affects the cost-benefit analysis, if you will, enterprise versus a pool car. Because you put that in advance, therefore a county pool car becomes cheaper because you're not charging the departments for the cost of the replacement. So that makes that cost-benefit analysis with enterprise quite dynamic and better and that's why now the break-even point is around 200 miles for the enterprise. And we have Director McMenemy has just within the last month reissued that analysis, if you will, with enterprise versus pool cars and that break even. And we have at the garage where everyone makes their reservations a spreadsheet that shows and asks the questions, where you're going, how long you're going to be. For example, enterprise will allow you to drop off a vehicle if you're flying out of San Francisco or Oakland, drop off that vehicle where you don't incur parking fees for the time that you're gone and pick up a new one to bring back. So therefore, that's much cheaper than having the pool car sit for days at an airport, incurring the cost of parking fees and other things. So we have quite a spreadsheet matrix there that does a cost-benefit analysis example of all of these things. Secondly, on your point about the cost versus pickups and four-wheel drives, we have a very graduated scale of charging departments. Therefore, they know the cost for a sedan, economy sedan is much cheaper per mile than the cost of a four-wheel drive vehicle or pickup, because we have to charge more for the replacement cost and the operation and maintenance cost. So it is a graduated scale that's very obvious and transparent to the departments.
Okay.
If I might add to each request for vehicles, and I heard Supervisor Pinches in his wanting to really consider the actual need for four-wheel drive. There are provisions within the policy where each request for a vehicle is greatly scrutinized by not only Mr. Garrison and Ms. McMenemy, but also by the CEO's office. And so as they come through, prior to even making their way to the board for approval of, let's say, a new vehicle or even a replacement vehicle, that review will occur and that determination made between all parties.
Okay, any further questions of staff? There is a member of the public wishing to speak, and I'll call for and invite public comment on this item at this period.
Good afternoon, Lee Howard. Oh, what a long way we've came. It wasn't too long ago. You can sit here and remember that we couldn't even give you the numbers of the cars that were here in this county. We guessed at it. It was close, pushing 4 something. We couldn't tell you how many cars were out there unmarked. It's considerably come down. You have gotten letters from the private sector supporting this today, the Farm Bureau. The Builders Exchange has been watching this. The Employers Council has been watching this. We have to give great accolades to the people that are doing this and the policies that have been implemented and the ability to sit here and say we're analyzing something. It wasn't 4 years ago we weren't analyzing nothing. We couldn't even make the count. So we are here, and I can say this for all 3 agencies, we're here to say thank you to the people that have made this happen. And we hope that you say the same thing.
And to you, Mr. Howard, thank you for showing people that you're not always here to beat on us, I guess, lack of a better term. So thank you. Okay, any additional public comment on this item? Okay, I'll remand this back to the board for action. What's the action of the board?
Chairman, make the recommended motion.
Second.
Okay, we got something to move ahead on here. Motion and second to the CEO. Any comment?
After this item, please.
Okay. Any additional comment on item 511? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. To the CEO.
Thank you. I assume we'll adjourn for lunch after this issue. I've canceled the celebratory lunch for the budget passing. I've notified department heads that we won't be having that lunch, so we're welcome to pick a time when to come back. I was going to merely suggest to the board that one of the elephants in the room, as we keep talking about, is about the teeter plan and the commitment of how much money we're going to commit toward the teeter plan. So I think what would be helpful as we go to recess, if the members of the board would pick a number for what you'd like to contribute additionally toward teeter, because whether we do that, as Supervisor Smith has suggested, by increasing our revenues, or as Supervisor Colfax has suggested, so furloughs, we do need a number